Hello, it's me, Oscar from Marijuana Garden.
The early months of 2025 brought an unexpected puzzle to the forefront of global attention. On March 2nd, in the Colombian town of Buga, a peculiar object was reportedly found. This wasn't just any object. Eyewitnesses claimed to have seen it performing unusual maneuvers in the sky. They described a zigzagging flight pattern, something that seemed to defy our current understanding of known aircraft. This initial sighting immediately set the stage for a compelling mystery, one that quickly captured imaginations far beyond the borders of Colombia. The world began to ask, what exactly is this Buga Sphere? As news of the discovery spread, so did the questions and the burgeoning debate. Is this a genuine artifact from a non-human intelligence, a visitor from the stars? Or could it be a cleverly crafted piece of art, designed to provoke thought and discussion? Perhaps more cynically, it might be an elaborate hoax intended to mislead or gain notoriety. These three possibilities, alien artifact, artistic creation, or deliberate hoax, formed the core of the discussion. The sphere became an instant sensation, a Rorschach test for our beliefs about the universe and our place within it. The date is now June 1st, 2025, and the enigma remains potent. The object, quickly dubbed the Buga Sphere, presented an immediate challenge to easy categorization. Its reported characteristics and the circumstances of its discovery were just unusual enough to fuel intense speculation. From its seamless construction to the strange symbols allegedly etched upon its surface, every detail seemed to add another layer to the enigma. This was not a simple piece of space debris or a forgotten weather balloon. The narrative surrounding it was far more dramatic, involving anomalous flight and a tangible, mysterious object now in human hands, inviting scrutiny and wonder. The global intrigue was palpable, amplified by our current cultural moment. We live in an age of renewed interest in unidentified anomalous phenomena, with governments slowly becoming more transparent about unexplained aerial sightings. The Buga Sphere landed squarely in this fertile ground of public curiosity and scientific inquiry. It forces us to confront the limits of our knowledge and the tantalizing possibility of the unknown. But fascination alone isn't enough. We must approach this and all such mysteries with a curious mind and a rigorous critical eye. The journey to understand the Buga Sphere is just beginning. The Buga Sphere, as described in initial reports, is an object of intriguing physical properties. It reportedly weighs around 4.5 pounds, a manageable but substantial mass. Those who first handled it described it as being cold to the touch, almost like it had been refrigerated, which is certainly an odd detail if it had just descended from the sky. The material of its exterior has been tentatively identified as either titanium or steel, though these are preliminary assessments and require more thorough independent analysis. These basic characteristics alone paint a picture of a solid metallic object, but the real mystery lies deeper. Perhaps the most talked about feature of the Buga Sphere is its apparently seamless construction. Reports consistently mention that it has no welds or joints. This is a significant claim. If true, it suggests a manufacturing process that is highly unusual, perhaps even beyond our common industrial capabilities. While specialized human techniques can create seamless objects, the context of this sphere's discovery makes this feature particularly noteworthy. It's one of the primary reasons some observers are quick to suggest a non-human origin, arguing that such perfection is a hallmark of advanced unknown technology. Adding to the puzzle are the mysterious symbols reportedly carved or etched onto its surface. These markings are not immediately recognizable as any known language or common iconography. Some fringe researchers, as they are often termed, have already employed AI analysis, claiming these symbols derive from ancient Germanic runes and Mesopotamian cuneiform. They even suggest these symbols convey an environmental message. However, such interpretations currently lack validation from mainstream linguistic or archaeological communities, making them highly speculative at this stage and demanding cautious consideration from serious investigators. Internally, the sphere is said to be just as complex. X-ray scans, reportedly disseminated through platforms associated with ufologist Jaime Maussan, are said to show 3 distinct layers of a metal-like material. Even more curiously, these scans supposedly reveal a number of embedded microspheres. Initial reports have been inconsistent, citing either 9 or 18 of these tiny spheres. One account even mentions a central nucleus or a chip. This inconsistency in the reported number of microspheres is itself a point of concern, highlighting potential issues with data reliability or the dissemination of accurate information, and underscores the need for transparent, verifiable study. The notion that the Buga Sphere could be an artifact of non-human origin is, understandably, the most captivating hypothesis for many. Proponents of this idea, such as Colombian radiology specialist José Luis Velázquez, point to several key aspects of the sphere that they argue are difficult to explain through conventional terrestrial means. Velázquez himself has described it as a very rare piece, something he has never encountered before in his professional experience. His assessment leans towards an artificial origin, with the implication being that artificial in this context means something beyond current human technology, perhaps extraterrestrial. The seamless construction is a cornerstone of the artifact argument. If the sphere genuinely lacks any discernible welds, seams, or joints, it would indeed represent a formidable feat of engineering. Proponents argue that creating such a perfectly smooth and unified metallic object, especially one with complex internal structures, might be beyond our current widely known manufacturing capabilities. This, combined with the reported anomalous zigzagging flight pattern observed before its recovery, paints a picture of technology far surpassing our own. Such advanced propulsion and manufacturing are hallmarks of what one might expect from an interstellar visitor's probe or device. The internal complexity further bolsters this line of reasoning. The X-ray images, though their provenance and clarity are debated, allegedly show 3 distinct layers and those embedded microspheres. Velázquez and others suggest this intricate internal design is not accidental or simple. They believe it points to a deliberate, functional purpose, one that is currently beyond our comprehension but indicative of sophisticated engineering. The idea of a central nucleus or chip within the sphere only adds to this perception of it being a piece of advanced, purposeful technology rather than a natural formation or a simple human-made object. Finally, the symbols etched onto the sphere's surface, while their interpretation is highly contentious, are also woven into the narrative of an alien artifact. The claims by some researchers that these symbols are a form of ancient script conveying a message, possibly of an environmental nature, are tantalizing. Although these interpretations lack mainstream academic support, they fuel the idea that the sphere is a deliberate communication or a marker left by an intelligent, non-human civilization. For those convinced of its extraterrestrial origins, these symbols are not random scribbles, but a potential key to understanding who made the sphere and why it is here. While the allure of an extraterrestrial explanation is strong, we must ground ourselves in more probable, albeit less sensational, possibilities. From my perspective as a scientist who studies human cognition and the unknown, the Buga Sphere looks to me like a really cool art project. This doesn't diminish its intrigue, but rather reframes it. Artists are constantly pushing boundaries, exploring new materials and techniques. They also often engage with themes of the future, technology, and our place in the cosmos. It is entirely plausible that a skilled artist or group of artists could create such an object. Consider the aesthetics. The idea of a perfectly seamless metallic sphere with cryptic symbols aligns remarkably well with popular conceptions of alien technology, as depicted in science fiction for decades. An artist might intentionally create an object that mimics these tropes, perhaps as a commentary on our societal fascination with UFOs, or even as a social experiment to observe public reaction. The seamlessness, while technically challenging, is not impossible for human ingenuity, especially with modern techniques like spin forming, 3D printing in metal, or meticulous finishing processes. The goal could be to create an object that alien. Beyond a deliberate art project, we must also consider the possibility of a straightforward hoax, or even a prop from a film or a viral marketing stunt. In an era of instant global communication, a well-crafted, mysterious object can generate immense publicity. The motivations for a hoax could range from financial gain to simple notoriety, or even a desire to playfully challenge public perception. While creating a convincing hoax of this nature would require significant skill and resources, it is certainly within the realm of human capability. We've seen elaborate hoaxes before, and each new mystery demands we consider this angle thoroughly. The human element in such creations is fascinating. There's a certain allure to crafting a mystery, to presenting the world with a puzzle that defies easy answers. It taps into our collective imagination and our innate curiosity. Whether the Buga Sphere is a masterpiece of artistic expression or a calculated deception, its power lies in its ability to make us question and wonder. However, this sense of wonder should always be paired with a healthy dose of skepticism and a commitment to uncovering the empirical truth, whatever that may turn out to be. Our fascination is understandable, but it shouldn't cloud our critical judgment. Section 5. Echoes of Deceit, the Shadow of the Peruvian Mummies. When evaluating extraordinary claims like those surrounding the Buga Sphere, it is crucial to consider historical context, particularly recent events that have tested public trust. The case of the Peruvian alien mummies, which gained significant attention before being thoroughly debunked in early 2024, casts a long shadow over the current discussions about the Buga Sphere. Peru's Institute for Legal Medicine and Forensic Sciences definitively concluded that these alleged alien remains were, in fact, cleverly constructed dolls made from animal bones, plant fibers, and modern synthetic glue. Archaeologist Flavio Estrada bluntly called it totally a made-up story. The involvement of certain individuals in promoting both the Peruvian mummies and now the Buga Sphere raises significant red flags. Ufologist Jamie Mawson, who was a central figure in presenting the Peruvian mummies to the world, has also reportedly been involved in releasing the initial X-ray images and findings for the Buga Sphere. This direct association inevitably and quite rightly undermines the credibility of the artifact claims for the Colombian discovery. When a promoter of a debunked phenomenon reappears with a new similar marvel, skepticism is not just warranted, it is essential for responsible inquiry. This history of hoaxes has a detrimental effect on the serious study of unidentified anomalous phenomena. Each time a sensational claim is exposed as a fabrication, it erodes public trust and can lead to cynicism towards genuine, unexplained observations. It makes the work of credible researchers more difficult, as they must constantly battle the perception that the entire field is rife with charlatans and misinformation. The Peruvian mummy episode serves as a stark reminder that extraordinary claims require extraordinary, independently verifiable evidence, not just compelling narratives or intriguing images presented by individuals with a history of promoting dubious findings. Therefore, as we examine the Buga Sphere, the lessons from Peru must be kept firmly in mind. The similarities in presentation, the involvement of the same promoters, and the nature of the extraordinary claims demand an exceptionally high bar for evidence. We must be vigilant against pareidolia, our tendency to see patterns in randomness, and confirmation bias, our inclination to favor information that confirms our pre-existing beliefs. The shadow of past deceptions necessitates that any investigation into the Buga Sphere is conducted with utmost transparency and by multiple independent scientific teams. This is the only way to move beyond speculation and towards genuine understanding. Section 6. The scientific imperative demanding rigorous investigation. As a scientist, my primary concern with objects like the Buga Sphere is the urgent need for rigorous, independent and transparent scientific validation. Anecdotes, preliminary observations and images released through non-academic channels, while intriguing, are simply not sufficient to draw definitive conclusions about an object's origin or nature. What is required is a systematic approach employing the full toolkit of modern material science, physics and engineering, conducted by credible, unbiased research institutions. This is why I advocate for organizations like the Galileo Project or the Scientific Coalition for UAP Studies, or SCU, to be involved in such investigations. There are already concerning inconsistencies in the publicly available information about the Buga Sphere. For example, the reported number of internal microspheres varies between 9 and 18 depending on the source. Such discrepancies highlight potential problems with data collection, interpretation, or even the deliberate manipulation of information. Furthermore, anecdotal claims, such as those made by David Vélez El Potro about feeling sick for days after touching it or water poured on it, started to smoke and the water vaporized instantly, lack any scientific verification. These sensational accounts, while captivating, must be treated with extreme caution until they can be substantiated under controlled conditions. The potential for unverified claims and hoaxes to discredit legitimate UAP research cannot be overstated. Every time a mystery is debunked, it unfortunately provides ammunition to those who wish to dismiss the entire subject of UAPs as pseudoscience. This is deeply unhelpful, as there are genuinely unexplained phenomena that warrant serious scientific attention. The Buga Sphere, whatever its true nature, presents an opportunity. If handled correctly with scientific rigor, it can demonstrate how such mysteries should be approached. If mishandled, or if it turns out to be a hoax promoted without due diligence, it will only harm the credibility of the broader field. Therefore, the path forward must involve a multifaceted scientific inquiry. This includes non-destructive testing like advanced X-ray fluorescence for elemental composition, neutron activation analysis, isotopic analysis to determine age and origin of materials, and detailed microscopic examination of its surface and any alleged internal structures. Any symbols should be studied by linguists and epigraphers with no preconceived notions. Only through such a comprehensive, peer-reviewed process can we hope to move beyond the current state of speculation and arrive at conclusions that are supported by robust empirical evidence rather than conjecture. Section 7. Our Minds and the Mystery. The Psychology of Fascination. The intense public fascination surrounding objects like the Buga Sphere is a phenomenon worthy of study in itself. As a cognitive neuroscientist, I observe how these mysteries tap into deep-seated aspects of human psychology. Our brains are wired to seek patterns, to find meaning, and to solve puzzles. When confronted with something truly unknown or anomalous, it can trigger a powerful cognitive response. This response can range from awe and wonder to anxiety and even fear. The Buga Sphere, with its narrative of potential alien origins, certainly activates these deep-seated human responses quite effectively. This fascination might also reflect broader societal anxieties. In a world grappling with complex challenges, environmental concerns, geopolitical instability, rapid technological change, the idea of contact with something other, something vastly more advanced or different, can be both thrilling and unsettling. It can represent hope for solutions to our problems, or it can symbolize a loss of control, a confrontation with our own limitations. The sphere becomes a focal point for these anxieties and aspirations, a tangible object onto which we can project our deepest questions about humanity's future and our place in the universe. We also encounter the phenomenon of cognitive dissonance when dealing with the unknown. This is the mental discomfort experienced when holding conflicting beliefs or when new information contradicts existing beliefs. If the Buga Sphere were definitively proven to be extraterrestrial, it would challenge many established paradigms. Conversely, if it's proven to be a hoax, it challenges the hopes of those eager to believe in alien visitation. The way individuals resolve this dissonance often involves either seeking more information to support one side, downplaying the conflicting information, or sometimes even embracing the ambiguity itself as part of the allure. The allure of narratives that extend beyond our current understanding is powerful. Stories of mysterious artifacts, ancient astronauts, or hidden knowledge have captivated human imagination for centuries. The Buga Sphere fits neatly into this tradition. It offers a sense of mystery in an age where much of the world feels mapped and explained. This desire for the unknown, for something beyond the mundane, is a fundamental part of the human experience. Understanding this psychological backdrop is crucial when analyzing not just the object itself, but also the diverse and passionate reactions it elicits from people around the globe. Section 8. The official silence and public speculation. The Colombian context. The response, or lack thereof, from official bodies in Colombia regarding the Buga Sphere adds another layer of intrigue and complexity to the situation. Following the sphere's discovery in March 2025, there has been a notable silence from Colombian authorities and local officials. This absence of official statements or acknowledgements has created a vacuum which, as is often the case, is quickly filled by public speculation, rumor, and sometimes conspiracy theories. When official channels remain quiet, the narrative can be more easily shaped by those with various agendas or interpretations. This official silence is particularly interesting given the claims made by David Vélez El Potro, the individual who reportedly recovered the sphere. He has stated that the Colombian government sought to acquire the object, but he refused to hand it over. If true, this suggests some level of governmental interest, even if it hasn't been publicly disclosed. This refusal to cooperate with authorities, if accurate, further complicates any potential official investigation and keeps the object primarily within the realm of private analysis and public discourse, which can be less rigorous than formal scientific scrutiny. The lack of official commentary fuels both skepticism and belief. For skeptics, it might suggest that authorities do not deem the object significant enough for public comment, perhaps viewing it as a minor local curiosity or a likely hoax. For those inclined to believe in an extraordinary origin, the silence can be interpreted as evidence of a cover-up, a sign that officials know more than they are willing to admit. This dynamic highlights how the absence of clear, authoritative information can polarize public opinion and make objective assessment more challenging for everyone involved in the discussion. This situation unfolds against a backdrop of increasing, albeit cautious, UAP transparency globally. The United States government, for instance, has acknowledged things that we don't understand regarding UAPs, and the Pentagon's All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, or AARO, tracks these phenomena. However, AARO has also stated there's no evidence suggesting that any cases they examined have extraterrestrial origins. This broader context makes the Colombian silence even more conspicuous. Is it a reflection of a similar assessment, no evidence of anything extraordinary? Or is it a different approach entirely? Until there is official engagement, the speculation will undoubtedly continue unabated. Section 9. Towards clarity, the unresolved question of the Buga Sphere. As of today, June 1, 2025, the Buga Sphere remains an unresolved enigma. Based on the publicly available information, a definitive classification, be it alien artifact, sophisticated art project, or elaborate hoax, is simply not possible. The sphere continues to exist in a liminal space, caught between extraordinary claims and the demand for extraordinary evidence. The journey from a curious anomaly to a scientifically understood object is often long and requires patience, persistence, and an unwavering commitment to methodical investigation by qualified experts in the field. I must reiterate the absolute necessity for independent, rigorous scientific investigation. This cannot be stressed enough. The current information is a patchwork of eyewitness accounts, unverified claims, and images whose provenance is sometimes linked to individuals with a history of promoting debunked phenomena. To move forward, the sphere needs to be examined by multiple independent teams of scientists with expertise in materials science, physics, chemistry, and engineering. These teams should have no vested interest in any particular outcome, allowing the data to speak for itself through transparent methodologies. What specific steps are required? First, secure, verifiable access to the object is paramount. Then a battery of non-destructive tests should be conducted, detailed imaging beyond initial X-rays, surface analysis using techniques like scanning electron microscopy, elemental composition analysis, XRF mass spectrometry, and isotopic analysis to determine the age and potential origin of its materials. If symbols are present, they require careful documentation and analysis by linguists and epigraphers, free from sensationalist interpretations. Any claims of anomalous properties like unusual temperatures or reactions with water must be tested under controlled laboratory conditions. Ultimately, the Buga Sphere presents us with a challenge and an opportunity. The challenge is to resist jumping to conclusions, whether born of hopeful excitement or dismissive cynicism. The opportunity is to demonstrate how society can approach such mysteries with a blend of open-minded curiosity and stringent scientific discipline. We must balance our innate fascination with the unknown with an equally strong commitment to critical thinking and evidence-based reasoning. Only then can we hope to unravel the true nature of the Buga Sphere and learn whatever lessons it may hold for us, regardless of its origin.